Hello YouTube and welcome back to the Silver Swanner channel. This is the 25th video in my US typeset series. And today we'll be adding this 1848 Coronet braided hair large set to the typeset. I picked up this large set amongst some other coins from my local coin shop the other week. So if you haven't already, go ahead and do me a favor, click that subscribe button, stay tuned for future videos. Lots of cool new coins that we're going to be adding to the typeset over the next several videos. So you'll definitely want to make sure you're subscribed so you know when those videos are released. So as I was doing my research for this coin and the history, things are kind of murky when it comes to these coins. So obviously the mint had only been around for 30 years or so at that point. The braided hair set, and really this set itself, is actually known by a couple of terms. So the Intercept typeset album that I have calls this the Coronet, but the Red Book calls this the Liberty Head. So let me know in the comments below what name you prefer. Do you prefer Coronet or do you prefer the Liberty Head? Then these coins were produced from 1816 through 1857, and these were actually the last of the large cents produced before we switched to the small cent because the cost of copper was simply getting too high to make financial sense for the mint to continue to produce these large cents. So of the Coronet or Liberty Head large cent, there are 4 types, I guess you could say. Only 2 of them are included in the Intercept US typeset album, and a couple of them were only produced very briefly, which is probably why they are not included in the typesets. So the first coin that was produced does have a slot in the typeset, and that is the one that's known as the matron head. Now, the other part that you have to keep in mind is that even though there's a type, there are also lots and lots of varieties. So the mint didn't have good consistency between their dyes. They were reusing a lot of dyes, so you'll have overdates and things like that that create tons of varieties. I think in the Red Book, this coin takes up 4 or 5 pages alone just because there are so many types and then varieties within those types. So after the matron head, which in the typeset is referred to as just your coronet, there was what I would call the Ugly Liberty, which was produced from 1836 to 1837. So being produced for only 2 years gives you that idea why they probably skipped that in the typeset. Then after that, there was the braided hair petite head, and that was produced in just 1839. So again, thankfully that one is left out. And then from 1840 through 1857 was produced the Coronet braided hair mature head. And that is actually the coin that we'll be adding to the album today. Then, as always, at the end of this video, I will go ahead and include updated photos of the album. And finally, I will share with you the updated running costs. So let me take you in and let's add this coin to the album. All right, and welcome back, everybody. I already got the coin out of the flip here. So here's a bit of a close-up. There is some sort of discoloration going on around here. I don't know if that's just browning. In natural light, it looks a little darker than it does here in the video. And here is the reverse. Again, it has that kind of coloration going on around it. But the reverse and obverse were so nice, I just had to have this one. So in the Red Book here that I have with me, as far as the grades here, Liberty, date, stars, and legends clear, part of hair cord visible. So I think when they're talking about the hair cord, they're referring to, in her bun, what I think is the cord, and that definitely looks visible to me. I have a microscope, so I'm actually going to probably cut and include some photos from the microscope now so you can see a little better close up and obviously better in focus than me trying to hold it in focus. If we look at very fine 20 here, hair cords only slightly worn, hairlines only partly worn, all well defined, and then extra fine 40, both hair cords stand out sharply, all hairlines sharp. So I think we've got both of the hair cords, or I don't think all of the hairlines are that sharp. So I'd put this probably in the XF30, between VF20 and XF30 range. Which, going and looking at the Redbook price, I know Redbook is not always perfect, but it's something to work off of here. So for the 1848, there was a mintage of 6.4 million, and you can see fine 1240, very fine 60, extra fine 95. You probably saw on the flip in my introduction, I paid $40 for this coin, so I think I got a good value. It also helped that I probably made a larger purchase with the local coin shop, and he probably gave me a deal because of that. So that being said, let's go ahead and add this coin to the album. But before I do that, let me go ahead and get it on the microscope, get a couple photos, and then we'll come back to that part. Okay, and I'm back, and it's much easier to see under the microscope, but there is a bit of a ding here in the head, and you can see it cutting across those hairlines, so maybe that certainly detracts from it. Like I said, I will put up the pictures from the microscope after I add it to the album here and let everyone take a look and judge for themselves, or maybe I'll add it before. We're trying something new here, so let me know if you like the microscope pictures or not. And I know one of these large cents I think they said was cut wrong. That's too big for that one. Oh, this is going to be one that's going to require, I think, some tripping. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video and see if I can't trim this out a little bit. Because, yeah, that's not going to fit in there. All right, I'll be back in a minute. All right, I'm back. Well, that was definitely a bummer. One of the first kind of really negative things I ran into with this typeset, and I had heard that before. I had actually got in the order a second page, and I had busted through that one and replaced it with this one, and I thought that's why they had sent me a second page to begin with, because they knew that the one in the book was wrong. So yeah, if you get a Intercept typeset album, be aware that the Coronet braided hair is going to have a little difficulty getting in there, and it kind of looks janky a little bit in terms of how I had to do that. I had to take a knife and just kind of go around the edge, and now it's catching a little debris when I'm putting the plastic back. All right, so there we go. Could probably look better in there, but the deed is done. So it's in, it's tight enough. It is what it is at this point. So stay tuned. I'll go ahead and take some updated album pictures, and finally we'll talk about what I paid for this. And as always, here are my updated album photos. I do apologize for the editing quality of the video. I'm trying to incorporate the microscope pictures as well and add some audio over that, and I'll go ahead and get that dialed in over the next couple of videos. And as usual, here are my updated running costs. So I paid $40 for the Coronet braided hair large cent from my local coin shop.
So no shipping for that. Brings my total cost for the coins to $889.40, and I paid $32.49 in shipping, bringing my grand total to $921.89.